Peace to the guys, y'all. It's Ron Obasi. I'm here to do my Renaissance certified interview. I just dropped the Lighthouse EP. Make sure you check that out. We're about to get into it. Yeah, bro, I definitely started rapping young. I know a few people have heard me say it, but my pops did hip hop, he did dancing, and I got into that pretty young because I was exposed to it pretty young. I want to say I feel like it became my purpose and I took it serious when I was sophomore in high school, freshman year around that time, and then especially college. And I felt like everything that I was doing was worth it. Double shifts and shit. A lot of people saw value in it and helped me get to where I am today, for sure, for sure. And yeah, long story short, I developed the entrepreneur mind, independent mind, owning music, you know what I mean? Through my journey through music industries, I've had distribution deals, all of that shit. But bro, the Lighthouse definitely took. It was a process. It was a creative process. I can start with the inspiration. I was watching an 19 Keys interview. He was interviewing Brother B Serious and Dr. B Serious, and he was basically talking about, you know, activating the soul as a lighthouse. And just kind of broke down the words time and emit. Long story short, it just sat on my heart so much that it inspired me to want to make a whole project. And I made like 20 songs, bro, from like 2022 to the release. But, those 4 songs kind of said more of where I was and where I was trying to go than any of those other songs. And sometimes the message just needs to be, concise and precise. 4 songs got the job done. That's how we got the Lighthouse EP, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro, a lot of jazz influence. Thankfully and gratefully, like, that there is indigenous and black music like jazz that have laid a landscape for us to pull from, because I definitely pull from it. And the reason why it's so heavily influenced now in my music, because when I was in college and I was in those dorm rooms skipping them classes, knowing that I was not finna go to class, that's what I was writing to. I was writing to nothing but jazz, you know what I mean? So once I kind of found the pocket and I found the message, I'm still carrying that experiences, even when something is 130 BPM or something is 95 BPM, so shout out to jazz. And then the influences like just playing Charlie Parker all over and over again in college dorm rooms, even to now being a grown man. And then you got your modern, but still, the real essence feel, the Terrace Martins, you know what I mean? You still listening to those, and it's like, how could you not want to be a hip hop artist or a scribe and not touch jazz? No disrespect to what people's choices are. I can give it a whole spiel, and I'll try to summarize it. But I made a project in 2022 called Why So Serious, and it was a play on the Dogon star, S.I. R-I-U-S, Serious, and then you got Dr. B Serious, who was like an elder, and he was just speaking on like the patience and like the human soul surrendering and having the acceptance of what time really is and allowing it to work in your favor. And a lot of us are so in a rush to get places that we're not realizing that in the present moment we're molding everything with our yesterdays, our todays, and tomorrow, and it's all really the same timeline. And that's why the Lighthouse meant something to me, because like I felt like in my whole journey, I felt like I was such an eccentric person. I was in such a rush to establish things, and I wasn't really mindful of just how not only was time was working against my favor, but how because I wasn't accepting time, it was working against me. So a lot of acceptance, a lot of gracious, a lot of patience, and it was just like, oh, when things were supposed to make sense to me, they begin to make sense. And then the Lighthouse, that clip also shows the power of language, because you have time and you have emit, and you got, those are just flip words. And just the power of language, the things that we say to ourselves, the things that we are vocalizing, and then just how, as an elder supposed to, as a young man who loves to be a student, I was just listening. It's like, how do I apply this to my real life? And yeah, when it made sense because I felt like a lot of people who are light in this world, want to do good in this world, want to build stuff in stable time, a lot of times we kind of get caught up in the human nature of things around us not reacting to us like being good. When the whole time, if it's a consistent goodness, if it's a consistent putting light out there, you know, eventually you'll see your loins and fruits. Even though it's not what it's for, eventually you'll see the things have always been reacting to what you've been doing. And that's what he meant by like, the lighthouse just flashes regardless. Even if there's nothing on the water, the lighthouse just does its job. So, Up from the Ashes featuring Kareem Liddell. That's a special one. And the reason why it was number 2 is because I know it felt special. I know it was up tempo, but it's like in the seamstress of the soul. You got 2 lyricists or 2 people who pride themselves on penmanship, really just going crazy. But the influence behind Up from the Ashes is exactly what it means. I'm a phoenix, you know what I mean? Like, and no matter what point in my life, even when I didn't think I was going to make it out of something, I rose stronger. And I know people in their life can relate to Up from the Ashes. You know what I mean? You go through the fire, you come out stronger. You're more equipped for your next journey in life. Not so much a battle, because everything isn't a battle, but you're much more equipped for the journey in life. And yeah, bro, like, but I was also on Up from the Ashes just talking about the science of it all. You know what I mean? I think a lot of us kind of give more credit and power to things that are external that really have no capabilities of stopping us from being who we want to be at all. And I was basically letting those forces know that, you know, they're not the Most High. They're not the end all be all, and I will always rise. You know what I mean? Yeah, A, B's, and C's. Obviously, like, you know, like I'm rapping, there's a lot of lyrical flips, but I mean every line. And specifically, the reason why I got the title was because I said, A, B, life ain't all about getting C notes. In fact, it's much more that it denotes. So just to play on the word A, B, C's, and D's, but also saying, in my own realization, like I said, like I've had my superficial attachments and kind of amounting them to like what my success was, and finding real reasons to define where I came from and where I am now. And that is successful. You know what I mean? Kind of self-defining what the own success is. And then there was also, you know, parts in the song, like I said, where I'm talking about moments where other people was trying to define success for me, and I wouldn't allow it. So that's also me proclaiming in the song, like, my family is extremely healthy and beautiful. I've grown something that is real. That's real love. That's real success. I'm still scribing and putting out light at the top of, you know what I mean? I would say, like, you know, my most healthiest clarity mindset, and it's like I was proud of that. I'm proud of where I was, where I am, and where I'm going. So that's pretty much what ABC is. Yeah, bro, the Nashville hip hop scene. I don't know. I'm always biased, but I don't think it's biased because I think the Nashville hip hop scene. I don't think we realize just how uh, on time, like, we are. Like I feel like my peers are not from this world. You know what I mean? As I say myself, because like I just see like just some out of the box eccentric energy here. Why we can't be boxed in is why we can't really find a sound, because it's such a different feel here. And like I said, somebody was out biased, and I feel like the Lighthouse kind of adds to that. I feel like where we pull from, where our roots pull from, no matter what it is, and you know what I'm saying, like, uh, I feel like a lot of what we create now will actively take part in shaping the collective future, not just Nashville future. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like we building something that is here, that is, the music is on timely for the turn of the tides, where it's like lyricism, where it's people infusing their spiritual concepts and beliefs inside the music, where there's people who are artists who are taking on the much more entrepreneurial CEO type of mindset with their music. I feel like Nashville is right in that pocket, and I feel like Lighthouse adds to that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shout out to the God, to my bro Hermes, man, who mixed the project. Um, just a real one, bro. Just showing up in a real way. We was having a studio session, and we were recording for the Lighthouse, and it was on one of those days where it snowed, and that shit was sticking. It was sticking hard. And by the time we realized that it was sticking, we had to drive home in the snow, bro. And cars was out there slipping and wrecking and all type of that shit. So that was one of the craziest nights because like we were dead ass in the middle of like recording. It was like, nah, bro, we gotta leave because if we don't, we ain't going home. So shout out to the dog homies. Shout out to my bro, man, because that was a turbulent drive back home. Yeah, the lessons that I'll take from the Lighthouse with me into other projects is loving what I create and create what I love. Patience, purpose, passion, and precision. Shit. You know what I mean? Those P words, and just allowing myself to be, uh, and allowing my experience to show. And I think what I want people to take from the Lighthouse is obviously the same things, but I want people to be strong in who they are as an individual, but allow the individual self to grow enough to benefit the collective around us because, you know what I mean? None of it means shit if that's not what the individual is doing or aware of. So I feel like in our actions every day that people can't see, that's what I feel like affects the collective more, if that makes sense. Yes, it's always helpful when physically we're out here using helping hands, but change, revolution, it starts in the house, it starts in the mind. So we gotta take care of that. When people ain't looking, make sure you still pouring in the work to do right, to be righteous, for sure.